I am going to show you how I use learning objectives to drive program excellence. So you're going to go from this, Snoozeville, USA, to this. I'm Hannah from DesignWise Coaching Consulting. I'm a program designer, a coach, a facilitator. I have a master's in organizational leadership, and I have been designing highly effective learning programs for adult professional learners for 12 years. And I am going to show you how I use red thread learning objectives to drive the design, the program experience, and the measurement, because we have to measure our programs to show that we are accomplishing what we need to accomplish. Now, this is phase 2 of my overall transformative design framework, and you can watch that entire video. I will put it below. I'm also offering you a free workbook to walk through this material. So if you are designing your own program or you're interested in learning more, you can go to my website and download the Red Thread Learning Objectives Workbook. First video, I'm going to just show you the overall model. And then in my second video, I'm going to show you how I take Red Thread Learning Objectives to drive program excellence. All right, so I'm going to cut to my other video. So let's get started. In my previous video, I went through my entire transformative design framework. For this video, I'm going to focus on phase 2. Now, phase 2 is when we actually design the program. Phase 1 is when we collect all the information from our clients. The second phase of the design is taking all that information, pulling in the information you know about learning design, and creating something you can pilot. Now we're at the start of phase 2, and the question is, how do we even begin the scaffolding for the design project? We always start with the end in mind. And we do that by creating specific and rigorous learning objectives that provide a map and a compass for your entire projects. So I call these red thread learning objectives. At a high level, your red thread learning objectives will run all the way through your learning design, the learning experience, and the measurement plan, which of course you're going to make because we're all responsible learning designers. What do red thread learning objectives give you? They drive program excellence because they keep everything aligned and intentional. They curb the darlings. So those people who are like, oh, I went to this one engagement and they played this really fun game. Oh, I went to this great training and I loved their model for how to be a great leader. So we're going to curb those darlings a little bit. We're going to stay on track. Then it's going to bring a sense of cohesion. Any good design is the design you don't notice. And lastly, it creates agility. How does it create agility when it's stuck in a structure? Well, the truth is it creates agility so the program can be broken up into different pieces, and then from there you can deliver it in 3 hours, you can deliver it in three hours, you can deliver virtually in person. It just makes it more malleable and adjustable depending on what the need is for the organization. And it brings clear direction to the design so multiple people can work on it at once because we're all on the same page. So let's go through the steps together. There are actually 5 steps. First step is to revisit what you learned in phase 1. Usually at the end of phase 1, I'll have a big report. I don't necessarily need to know every nuanced detail to design. And in fact, it could become a distraction. So the first step here is just a summary, essentially, of what you found out in phase 1. Now we're actually going to break down the program. I've created a worksheet in case you want to do a mind map or storyboard your project. Now this part of it is not deciding the how. The point isn't at this point being like, are we going to do 3 3-hour chunks? Are we going to do 1 3-hour chunk? Are we going to do half day, full day, in-person, virtual? That's not what this is. All we're doing is breaking up the learning in chunks so that we can assign learning objectives to each chunk. And I think of it like if you're writing for a TV show. When you're writing, you have an overarching arc for the entire season. And then for each episode, you have mini arcs, story arcs, because that's what keeps people interested and engaged. Here, you're identifying what is important to you as well. Now, step one was identifying what was important to the client, but in step two, you need to be really clear about what's important to you as a designer, as a facilitator, as somebody creating the program. So now you have filled out step one, step two, and you're finally ready to write out your learning objectives. Step three, in the workbook, I give a sheet to talk about the general guidelines I use for creating learning objectives, but the two worksheets will give you a path to create the actual learning objectives. To write really impactful learning objectives, we start with the verbs. Now, learning objectives aren't just informed by Bloom's taxonomy. I know a lot of people start with Bloom's taxonomy, and it's a very useful tool, but I have modified them a little bit for non-academic use, because when you're attending college, your job is to learn. Your job is to go to your class and sit in a lecture for 3 hours and take notes, and then go to your study group or go to a learning lab or go to an actual lab and try things out. That's your job, is to learn. Well, when you're creating engagements for adult learners who have a real job, now of course their job is also to keep learning, but their real job, what they get paid for, typically isn't. So I've modified these verbs so that we can make sure they're measurable in a way that a business would care about. You can go to your favorite search engine and look for Bloom's taxonomy, and you will get sheets and sheets. And there are so many verbs. Why? There doesn't need to be so many verbs. So I've cleaned it up. You can just download my sheet on the verbs, but I'm going to go through them right now so you can do the whole workbook or just the verbs. So let's look at it. Learning happens on a predictable path that can make learning design more straightforward. First, they need to learn the material. For example, let's say someone is learning to drive. This step, a person could repeat what I said about the gas pedal and the brake pedal, but they wouldn't necessarily really get it yet. So now we recall facts and basic concepts. Define, list, repeat, quote, recite. Now we're going to understand. Now I can explain the idea or the concept. Oh, I push the pedal, gas is released to the engine fires, it makes the pistons go, and therefore it makes the tires move. Describe, discuss, explain, identify, locate, select. Now you'll see on here, understand is crossed out. And I see so many learning objectives that start with understanding, but you cannot measure understanding. And I know before you say, Hannah, yes, you can. Just ask yourself, how do you measure understanding? Oh, well, they describe it to you, or they take a test, or whatever it is, and say, so that is the learning objective, is describe la la la, because then you can measure it. So the next step is apply. And this is a crucial step for most programs because we're trying to get to learning transfer. An application, especially learning transfer from the classroom into the workplace, this is a lot of times where, if not done correctly, this is where the book will go on the shelf after the training and nobody will ever use it. So implement, practice, use, apply, operate. Now we're going to analyze. So if I do something where I'm training somebody to design or training somebody to train, I will need to get to analysis. So differentiate, compare, contrast, relate. Then we have evaluate. So we justify our stand or decision. So now we really get it. We have done all of our research, and now I can defend to an audience why I think DISC is the best training, or why I think Crucial Conversations is the best training. Finally, we have create. I have been teaching DISC and creating programs for 8 years, but I had to go through all of these stages of learning the tool so that at the end I can get to design. If you're trying to design something and you hit a roadblock, you may just need to go back and do some analysis or evaluate. And it's kind of that idea of common knowledge isn't common practice. Well, common practice isn't common create. You can't always create it because you're really good at it. Just because you're great at a crucial conversation, you may not be able to create a training on it. So this is design, assemble, construct, develop. Okay, all done with that. Sometimes it's helpful, and I put this first, is that overall arc of the TV show. Sometimes it's nice to put those learning objectives first and then go back and break it up in sections. So the sections you identified in step 2 will get transferred onto the page here. So I put 4 sections, but if you need an extra piece of paper, then get an extra piece of paper. And that's it. That's all of it. So my next video, I will walk you through how I use red thread learning objectives for steps 1 and 3. And then I will show you steps 4 and 5, which is creating learning experiences and creating a measurement plan. But today's video is just 1 through 3. If you have any questions, just let me know. My name is Hannah, and I'm from DesignWise Coaching Consulting. If you'd like to work with me as a designer or design advisory, or to facilitate DISC or any of your other trainings, just reach out. I'm here to support you. You can book a free discovery call on my website, designwiseconsulting.com. Check out my other videos on learning design, coaching, facilitation on my YouTube channel, and I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining me. No more boring, useless professional training programs.